Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and with me as always on Tuesdays and Fridays is Jeff from the Blockchain Report. How's it going,
Yeah.
brother?
Doing good, doing good. Had a great weekend. I saved my aunt and uncle from going to the No Kings rally. They said that they came and had lunch with me instead. So I was like, I
Nice,
feel like I did a good deed.
nice. Yeah, no, I was cracking up. Even where I live, there was a small crowd of those out in front of the grocery store trying to show their support for the No Kings movement. I, uh, I rolled down the window. I was like, "It worked. We don't have kings. Go
Yeah,
home."
only queens.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So,
How
well,
you doing? You get some
oh,
outdoor activities done?
oh yeah, I've been chopping wood and getting the property ready for winter. Swapped out the 4-wheeler battery and to make sure that when the snow starts flying, I can plow the driveway, all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah, man. I'll tell you, it's people are struggling right now in crypto. I've been kind of looking at the analytics and stuff, and like our viewership is holding pretty steady, but man, it is like crickets on crypto Twitter. Other than the gold is better, Bitcoin's better, and
Oh
people are
yeah.
beat up, man. The discords, both the Discover Crypto and our Discord is pretty damn quiet. It's people just aren't sure what to do, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know, man.
Deadwood.
Well, especially after gold take that nice little plunge, you would think there'd be some more hype around moving that into Bitcoin.
Well, there's historical data that supports that, and there's nothing that says that that's not what's going to happen because historically, whenever gold has had a pump, it's usually a precursor to the government printing money, and
Mm,
then basically, we all know what happens when they print money; it floods into the market, and when that liquidity floods in the market, you get people that want to throw it into risk on assets like crypto, and it's going to start with Bitcoin, and it's going to do that whole trickle down effect, that it does, and hopefully it happens, because I won't lie, man. It's like I've been learning about crypto and doing the channel and stacking and doing DeFi and doing all these things for 5 years, and on the on the hopes that it was going to pay off. So I've made some good money, but damn, I want to make that 300 to 500K nut that I keep talking about.
it's not the alt season of yesteryear, huh?
So far, no. It's like the highest that I saw was my portfolio was about twice what it is now, but that was at the peak back in last December, December January timeframe.
Oh yeah,
Rebel headspace. We're in the healing phase of the market.
man, need to stick it with some peptides to heal faster.
Oh, right, right.
Get
Need to
going.
get some stem cells or something so
Yeah,
we can.
right. Some
So yeah,
TRT.
something. Well, so actually, you know what? Before I introduce the project, why don't you hit our socials? Let's pop on over to there real quick.
Hopping on up. Yeah, we appreciate all of you for joining us here at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live Tuesday and Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can catch us here on YouTube at DeFi Crypto Airdrop. And if you're on Twitter, come on over here, jump in the chat, because there's a lot more action going on here in the chat. Oh, it doesn't load, but I'll save that. Sometimes the YouTube doesn't show the chat right away, but come check us out. Check out our brother channels. Me at the Blockchain Report, Jake Call, DeFi Income, Blockchain Basement, Discover Crypto, and David at DeFi University. Mike does his show with Jake and David every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And they have great products where you can take your DeFi knowledge to the next level with Metrics Finance. It basically tracks your whole DeFi portfolio. And there
Hmm.
is a free option for you to start, just dip your toes in. And you can choose to do monthly or yearly subscriptions if you find it valuable. And we have links in the description for these as well. and David's DeFi University, where there's a whole lot of information and weekly Zoom calls and stuff. So
Well,
it,
actually, it's a
recommend this
daily.
call. Oh,
He
daily.
does,
Sorry.
yeah,
Shit.
he does daily calls, and they're live calls, and you can
Oh,
interact
right
with
here.
him
Yeah.
and the other people. And then with Metrics Finance, there's actually with the link in the description. If you do yearly, you actually get 20% off. So instead of $1,000, it's only $800 for the whole
Hmm.
year, and that's for the the largest package. And if you're curious, what that all entails, I did a full episode with Jake on Metrics Finance, and he'll actually him and David are both putting together commercials for me,
Oh,
B-roll,
yeah.
so
Right.
that we can roll that here on the show. But a lot of really good stuff in there. You can track both your liquidity pools and your lending and borrowing. You can also, there's an AI assistant in there. There's a lot of different tools that you can use. So definitely check out that free version, even if you don't get the paid version. Definitely check out the free version. It's very, very valuable.
Yeah, and this is the episode that he was talking about the secret weapon of pro DeFi traders with Metrics Finance, and dove into some new features and stuff that were pretty powerful. And this Money Talks show that Mike does on Mondays that just returned brings a financial planner, Texas Jeff, and an state attorney, Taylor, and they talk about law topics and traditional finance stuff. So definitely a lot of alpha that you can't find anywhere else. And also
On
Mike's DeFi
on
Academy.
Yeah, and on Thursdays, I've started to do interviews with just interesting people. Just people in finance, people successful business people, ex-military, that did interesting jobs in the military. Whoever I can find that just has an interesting story.
Thursday at 2 p.m.
That is
So
correct.
Pacific Standard Time, PST, right? Or
That is
okay. And if you don't know where to get started on your DeFi journey, Mike has a great DeFi Academy playlist that you can get started with. A lot of great tools, decentralized exchanges, DeFi aggregators. So if you don't know where to start, this is the spot to do it. And also, you can find us on Twitter at the _only_ DCA. You can catch Mike at Veteran4Crypto and me at the BCR142. And all the links are in the description below, so you don't go clicking on scan. So you don't go clicking on scams. That's very important. And here on Pump.fun, we are streaming live, and we had to create a token in order to stream, but between me and Mike, we only hold 1% of the supply. The rest is like almost 90% in the liquidity pool. We do get creator rewards from buying and selling. Not like you don't have to hold it, but if you want to buy and sell, it does send us little pennies at a time. So it's a way to support the channel. Also with Metrics Finance and DeFi University, we get some referral incentives from that. But
no, it doesn't cost you all out there anymore. It
yeah,
comes out of the price is the same, except again with the elite package you do get 20% off with our link.
on Metrics Finance, yeah.
Yes. All right, so
So
let's jump right into this. Enough with all that.
jump, jump, jump.
So we are going to be talking about Mento Labs, and we're not talking about the candy that fizzes when you put it in the in Coca Cola. So basically, here I'll read you a little bit of what I got here. So the core mission of Mento Labs is a powerhouse behind the Mento protocol, a decentralized EVM or Ethereum virtual machine compatible platform on the CeLo blockchain, designed for launching, managing, and swapping multi-currency stablecoins. Their goal: bridge the gap between volatile crypto and everyday stability, enabling seamless on-chain foreign exchange payments and micro lending, especially in emerging markets like Africa, Asia, and Latin America. So basically, their focus is on FX, so foreign exchanges, or basically
Mhm.
foreign currencies. No, go on. Um, so why it matters. With global economic instability, the rising demand for borderless payments, Mintos focuses, and this is something I've been trying to tell people, and not to say this is going to this is the XRP killer, but this is something I've been trying to tell people with XRP and cross-border payments. Stable
Hmm.
coins, once different countries have a version of their fiat in a stable coin, there's really no need for a bridge currency. I mean, if you're in China, basically there's liquidity pools that will house the liquidity to be able to swap it over into the yuan. So
Hmm.
anyway, that being said,
Yeah, and how did
um,
those XRP shills take that?
I've genuinely been trying to get somebody that's actually knowledgeable to engage with me. Because if I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong. I mean, don't
Mhm.
send a stupid meme, calling me stupid or just telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay if I don't point to a reference because often I use literature off of XRP's website. Show me where I'm wrong. With not with hype and shills. Actual official documentation. So
Mhm.
Mintos' focus on local currency stablecoins positions it as a key player in DeFi's next wave. Over 7 million users already, 700 million plus transactions, and 15 billion plus in trading volume already prove it's not just hype, it's infrastructure. Quick fact. Founded in 2022 in Berlin, Germany, Mento Labs isn't chasing memes. They're building primitives for real world adoption of digital assets, powering wallets like Oprah's MiniPay in Nigeria and expanding to Kenya, Ghana, and beyond.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's already up and going, and I have some data and stuff like that. I'm going to kick it over to you and let you share what you found, but I'll fill the gaps in, wherever we run into them. But I got a bunch of data pulled up, but I'm going to kick
Mm.
it over to you.
Oprah's mini pay, huh?
Hmm.
That's interesting. I didn't know she had a little footprint in Nigeria like that.
She has a bunch of stuff going on in Africa. She had that girls' school that there was some accusations going around about
Oh yeah,
some inappropriate things that were going on there, and
and some movement. You know.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
there's I that's neither here nor there, but yeah, there's she's always for decades she's been doing stuff there.
Okay. Yeah. So I did find this interesting that they're trying to bring, forex or foreign exchange currencies onto the blockchain because I haven't dipped my toes into forex trading before, but I've done a lot of stock trading, studying and watching videos and stuff, and even forex trading. But I never fully got into the forex side. I have some friends who did, um, but that's a whole separate thing that you have to get approved to trade, and so it's kind of hard to get access to. Um,
Damn.
so I found this interesting that it was really trying to bring that area or that market on chain. And I did find their team or their founders, and you kind of had to dig for this in the resources in their blog page. And this was from a year ago, I think.
So is that Marcus and then Bogdan and Roman?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a little bit of info on them, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And I see that they were talking about a token, but I haven't been able to find it.
I,
So
I, I do have some data on the breakdown of the Minto token.
is it live and active
I,
or
I wasn't able to find that it insinuates that it is. Um, let's see, or when it launches, it will be. So
Yeah,
I got
10 million plus users.
basically I got the tokenomics pulled up. Whenever you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, jump into that because I haven't been able to find anything on the like.
All right. So the tokenomics is supposedly it's going to just be Mento. In the ERC20 governance token for the Mento ecosystem, non transferable at launch to curb speculation, but unlockable via community vote. Total supply is 1 billion tokens. It drives governance, value accrual, and utilities like staking for rewards, protocol fees, and cross chain expansions. Distribution breakdown. So the community treasury is supposed to get 45%, and that funds development, grants, and sustainability, fully community governed. The team and contributors get 30%, 25% as VE Mento, which is 1 year, locked for 1 year, 75% with a 1 year cliff plus 3 year linear vest. And then you got the community airdrops is 10%, 2 year locked VE Mento for early CeLo Mento users, rewards active participants. Security reserve fund is 5%. It's the backstop for stablecoin collateral losses, boosts holder confidence to boost holder confidence. And then the future team and advisors is 10%, reserved for scaling talent, governance, approved releases. The key mechanics and incentives. VE Minto, just like VE Arrow or VE Black, it's the voting token. So VE Minto, when it's locked, holders lock tokens for voting power and boosted rewards. Aligns long-term incentives. Demand drivers, fees from swaps, FX trades, and stablecoin issuance flow back to stakers. So it sounds very similar to Arrow and Black.
Mhm.
And not that this is the same, but just it pays holders that lock. Um, over protective features, over collateralization, 150% plus in backing, diversified reserves, crypto portfolio worth 150 million plus as of October 2024, so a year ago, and governance evolution prevent rugs or dumps. Let's see. It says this isn't your typical VC dump. Tokenomics 55 to community. That's a recipe for organic growth, not quick flips. Compared to DAI's governance, but with multi-currency flair. Risks and opportunities. Low initial liquidity, non-transferable phase means patience pays off. Airdrops for CeLo certificate holders could spark early hype. Claim your FX ID on their Discord for potential eligibility. So, like for the airdrop. You got anything else?
Yeah, and so they have their that actual post on the FX ID right here on their Twitter page. Um, but yeah, go to their Discord to do that. And I actually need to do that because I don't know if I don't know if we actually need money for that right now. So, and did they say anything about a KYC for this?
I did not see anything about that. Um,
Okay.
but I mean, we can. I mean, you can go and do it live if you want.
Yeah, I'll pop this
We got a minute.
in the Discord. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Discord, our free Discord, totally free. A lot of great
Get in there,
community
learn some
members in
shit.
there, and yeah, we've all been learning some shit. Man.
Yeah,
It's been
actually, there
great.
was one of the people in there dropped some sweet news. The reason KTA was pumping this morning, it started pumping, and I was wondering what was going on. And Jay, actually, yeah, there he is, Jay. He posted in there that
What up,
he
Jay?
got some kind of alert that was saying that KTA was going to be getting listed. And so I started doing some digging, and I actually found the official post, and I put it in our Discord that it's supposed to be listed on Coinbase tomorrow.
Shit. That's nice.
Yeah. So, basically, a lot of people, they've been kind of, hesitant to get into KTA. It's had a significant pullback from its all-time highs, and a lot of people were, doubting their investment. And I think, even some of the people in the community got out. I've continued to stack. Once I find a good, fundamentally strong project, unless those fundamentals change, I continue to stack it. It's
Mhm.
if I start stacking where it's a big enough bag to where it's outpacing, my other bags, I might shave off some to, put into other things. But for the most part, I
Ooh.
just continue to build, bags of projects I'm bullish on.
Yeah, that's a nice little pump. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay. So here is the Mento Discord page, and you just got to verify to enter, and then down here, network progress, FX card. So you generate your personalized FX ID, and you need to verify that you're following them on Twitter. If you verified identity in the open Forex later, marks you as an early participant. So generate your personalized FX ID, share and submit on X, and then drop your link in community content. So we'll post this on the Twitter. Select your country. Can I do... Oh, I can't. Okay. So I got to do United States of America. Oh, and then it'll pop up right here. I'm now verified. Sweet. So it doesn't look like you need to KYC. And then submit your link. Copy your tweet and then submit. Boom. You're now a
Man,
verified licensed member.
gold just keeps dumping.
Oh shit. That retail we sure did call it last week, man. That was
I shouldn't have closed that short. I mean, it was only $100, but it was. I mean, it was. I had some leverage on it, but yeah, I
Ooh.
shouldn't have closed it out. I've freaking what I needed to. I wanted to put that $100 somewhere else, but yeah, every time, man. Anytime I close a freaking short or a long, it seems like it always would have paid off. I'm a terrible trader.
Yeah. The DeFi's just been so great. Community content. Let's see. Yeah, and drop your stuff in the community content channel right here too. So let's see. Initiator. I got my... Yep. Then you'll get your initiator role. So follow those steps and you'll be in a good position to be early. I mean, you said they started in 22? They've been building, or 22, right? Because I was looking at the blogs and I went back to like, what, the oldest is 2023 on their blog page. So, they've been building for a while. And
Yeah, it's like a 2022.
2022.
Yeah,
Yeah, November.
Germany 2022.
Yeah, the founders kind of sound German. The
So I
names.
got a little bit of info on them.
True.
So
Yeah, what you got?
Marcus is the CEO and co-founder. He's a blockchain veteran with deep roots in emerging markets. He's spoken at CFC St. Moritz on mass crypto adoption in Africa and MWC Barcelona on blockchain's transformative path. The focus on financial inclusion via stable assets. That's why they're operating in emerging markets. Trying to allow people that are unbanked, access to financial markets, which I think
Mhm.
is an awesome endeavor. Bogdan is the co-founder the tech lead with expertise in DeFi protocols, previously contributed to CELO's core stability mechanisms. And then you got Roman, who's also a co-founder, engineering powerhouse handling the EVM platform scalability. Together, they've built a team blending economists, engineers, and Web3 natives. All right. And then the broader expertise, the squad includes finance pros and traditional sector and crypto OGs. They've collaborated with Chainlink for CCIP security. You keep seeing Chainlink popping up in this stuff. And Hyperlane, cross-chain transfers, ensuring robust tech, funding credentials, 10 million Series A in October of 2024 from heavy hitters like Hashkey Capital, T Capital, Flory Ventures, Verta Ventures, W3 Fund, No Limit Holdings, Richard Parsons, and Lava, that's Africa focused. So it isn't just seed stage smoke, it's fuel for a roadmap hitting Africa. So what they have so far, key facts and data, milestones. It looks like they're using CELO's stablecoin, so CUSD, which is the CELO dollar, C Euro, which is the CELO euro, C Real, which is the the CELO Brazilian real, the EXOF, which is the looks like the West Central Africa franc, and then you got CSES, which is the Kenyan shilling, and then PUSO, which is the Philippine peso. So upcoming, you got the Korean won, the Japanese yen, the Singapore dollar. So yeah, it looks like they definitely have a focus right now on kind of the bigger stables, or bigger countries stable or currency, and then but it looks like if they're working with Chainlink and what was the other one? Chainlink and what was it I said?
Fuck, I don't remember. I found their LinkedIn
Ah,
pages though.
Chainlink and Hyperlane. So if they're
Oh.
working with those potentially, that gives them cross-chain interoperability and access to additional liquidity, once that lever's thrown. So, I'm definitely not going to pretend like I know to what extent, but this is something that I've been looking into, as it pertains to Swift, because Chainlink is of course working with Swift, and I've been curious as to they're using Linea for the messaging aspect of the Swift offering, and then Chainlink, and so I've been doing a little bit of a deep dive to figure out how potentially they could leverage Link to have access to multi-chain liquidity. So everything on, of course, Ethereum, anything on Plume, anything on all those different chains out there that have stable coins and tokenized real world assets and whatever else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, Chainlink is just positioning themselves to like you can't live without them.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I mean
that's-
for real. I mean they're going to be kind of the rails that allow communication between
Mhm.
chains in the financial sector. I mean that's really what it's starting to look like. Is they're going to be the oracle, for the financial, the entire financial system. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
interested to see what happens with Chainlink, and I have a nice little bag of it. Not obviously not as much as I would like, but I definitely have a bag of it.
Yeah, I found their LinkedIn pages for the those three fellas.
All right, yeah, go ahead and
So
pick around in there. Tell us what
yeah,
you find.
Marcus, he's got experience. He was a chief economist at the CELO Foundation, and he was a member of the board for C Labs, the CELO Labs And I guess Mento is what did they say? A spin-off? Yeah, it was spun off from C Labs about a year and a half ago, or a
Mhm.
couple years ago.
So,
So,
so it's kind of similar to that that project we did a deep dive on that spun off of Polygon.
oh yeah, yeah, where a bunch of the members or devs went and
Hmm.
kind of branched off.
Yeah.
Um, so he's investment and risk strategist at Risk Lab GmbH, and portfolio manager at Alliance Global Investors. Um, oh, he was in the '06 to '07. He was an analyst investment banking at Merrill Lynch, and then before that was structured products equity derivatives group at JP Morgan. So he's got some traditional finance stuff. Um, their CTO Bogdan, he was a system architect at Metagame, and before that, he was a product lead software engineer at Consensus. So
There you go.
those who don't know, Consensus is the MetaMask and Linea
Yes.
developers.
And again, Linea is the messaging layer for potentially for Swift.
Yep. And he has some experience as a CTO, head of engineering, software architecture, an engineer, Uber VU, early, Okapi Studio, SoundCloud web developer back in the 2010. Um, oh, he's a unicorn tamer. Oh shit. In the Netherlands. I didn't know they had unicorns in Netherlands, but I guess that's where you find them. Um, and Roman Kroosman. So he's a PhD researcher from Stanford and PhD student from Ludwig Maximilians Universität in München. Ooh. A quantitative strategist at Scalable Capital in Munich, and then partner economic engineering lead at C Labs. And so he doesn't have a whole lot of experience. It looks like he's probably close to my age or a little younger. Let's see. Marcus. Oh, no. Roman. Yeah. So it looks like this is his first real big. So three of these guys are the co-founders, right? Yeah, they're.
Yeah, it looks like there's three founders.
Yeah. Man, a lot of these. Well, I mean, you have the group that created Libra at Facebook, right?
Mm.
They split and spun off into Aptos and Sue or Sui.
Yeah, yeah.
So you see a lot of these tech companies have these spin-offs or these groups that kind of branch off and do their own thing, which is kind of interesting to see. These guys, these tech bros get into crypto and then say, fuck it, we're going to do our own project. I mean, you can probably find a lot more money in, once the angel investment stuff in tech dries up a little bit, they find, oh, we can get this crypto stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
A lot less regulation, or at least there was, but
I did find a tidbit about the airdrop. So it says grab your FX ID on Mento's Discord and then stake on CeeLo for airdrop hints or swap CUSD today. So it looks like that's how you can farm a bit of the airdrop.
when was that from? Was that from the article last year, or?
No, this is just a search that I did.
Okay. Yeah, from this article last year, it was Mento airdrop and governance AMA with Mento Labs founders, but it was like June 2024. They said the initial airdrop was focused on retroactively rewarding existing participants in the Celo ecosystem, voters, stablecoin holders, and those who transacted with Mento stablecoins. We applied a dampening curve to ensure fair distribution, giving smaller allocations to high volume participants and more balanced rewards overall. The airdrop started on Monday, and this episode is currently gated by KYC. Residents from the US, UK, and other countries are excluded from this, but that was last year, so... Oh, and here's the airdrop page, but it looks like... Let's check it out. Is it dead? Oh, season 1 has ended, so... Of course, season 2... Let's see, do they have anything in the Discord about... Did you find out when?
I didn't.
They didn't say. Let's check out information.
Dude, man, these markets, man, they're just fatiguing. Like gold, Bitcoin, all of it, dude. It's like freaking this morning, everything freaking pumps, and then everything gives back like all of its gains.
Someone was saying it's the new moon, or what? Not the new moon. Is it? I forget which part of the moon cycle, but I think we get a dump in this phase. But that was a nice little pump this morning.
I won't lie, man. It was refreshing to see some green and see KTA pump, and because it definitely has some some losses to make up for. In fact, let me pull that up real quick.
I might move back into that Kita pool so I found this. I'll touch on it later. There was a CB Bitcoin USDC pool that was doing like 1,000% with like a 40% range or a 20% range. And it was saying, I've been in it 2 days, and it said that I'd be making like 15 to 20 bucks a day, and I've made less than $1.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables, and and most of the information is historical. So so everything, even metrics finance and stuff like that. The only thing it can go off of is historical data. So basically, whenever you look at this is what potentially you could be making, it's if it keeps doing what it's been doing, and you can set the time frame. So it's the past 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, whatever, to give you a better average. But nothing is 100%. I mean, it's obviously if it was 100%, everybody would be getting rich, and nobody would be getting rich at the same time, because any profits that you make is either fees that somebody else paid or money that somebody else lost. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
And that's why I love DeFi so much, because for the most part, it's fees. It's money that people voluntarily pay for a service. And I'm providing a service. I'm providing liquidity. So that's why I love DeFi so much. Trading and meme coins and things like that. I mean, to each their own. But especially meme coins, I just wouldn't feel right. Even if I hit it big on a meme coin, all I would think about is all those people out there that got wrecked so that I could get rich. And again, no judgment. They're for the most part, they're all adults. They got into it of their own free will. Nobody held a gun to their head. But I like the idea of knowing that I'm just providing a service, and the money just trickles in. So that's just me, though.
Yeah. Do it as ethically as possible.
Yep. I don't. If I never get rich, that's cool. I'm very comfortable. I make a very good living in retirement, and my cabin and my property's paid off. I got no debt. I'm doing a lot better than a lot of people out there. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of people are playing the casino because it's kind of their last hope. I was just looking before we went live. 90-day delinquencies on credit cards is like
Jesus.
is like at record highs.
Oh,
Like the last time it was this high or higher was 14 years ago, and before that, it like I mean, basically, it's the second highest it's ever been. So
shit.
people are hurting out there. Repos, car repos, foreclosures, things like that are starting to pump.
Car repo? I don't know if I was telling you last week. It was like 3 weeks ago. It was 8:30 at night, and I hear this dude yelling outside my
Yeah,
apartment. And I go out and I look out the window, and this dude was yelling at this tow truck driver taking his car, and he was like, "You motherfucking piece of shit!" And the guy was like, "You should have paid your shit." And he just
yeah.
drove off. I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, no, it sucks. I mean, yeah, that'd be a hard job to do, man. It's like,
Yeah,
you're dealing with desperate people when you're going, and there's a reason why, it's
yeah.
that's kind of an edgy job. It's people can get weird when you're taking their car.
So
So,
here you go. So get Mento stablecoins right here on their products page. There's Mento Asset Exchange and their app. They have their app right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect my wallet, and we'll go and mint one of the. So there's CUSD. Look at all this stuff. Cello Kenyan shilling, Japanese yen,
also they have
Ghanaian
launched the Japanese yen.
SETI, Swiss franc, Colombian peso.
Oh, they launched the Colombian peso. So that wasn't on my. Those two weren't on my list. So they've launched a bunch of new stuff. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So this I for some reason I see this and plasma working well together.
Oh, yeah.
Plasma being a stablecoin platform. I'd have to look and see how they complement each other, but yeah, that would be interesting to see. What's up, Haven Peck? Good to
So
see
what
you,
should I
man.
swap for? I got 3 USDT. What should I
Swap it into the CUSD. So I mean, they're both pegged to the dollar. So you could arbitrage it. Basically just swap like for like, and be farming points and just keep swapping back and forth.
True. There we go. My little scam sniffer. Make sure that it looks good.
So yeah, KTA at its peak when it launched, it came out. It got up to $1.60, and then its local low was 27 cents.
Woo.
So, and it's back up to 50 cents. So it's almost 2x from its bottom. But man, all of us that have been stacking on the way down, if it gets back up to $1.60 or goes past that, it's going to be a good day in my house.
How's that pool been earning for you?
Like I said, I unfortunately, what was it, a couple weeks ago or something? For the most part, I got out of all my pools. I just have
Okay.
that black USD pool that just is a steady 300%, just constantly printing. I have that one going, and it's just minting me free black. And I've actually harvested probably about 600 or 800 bucks off of that, to do other things with, to open some longs and do other stuff. And I just been using it as a basically liquidity.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Got me a little more CUSD. I think I already had some other tokens in here. Let's see, what do I... Huh. Oh, I guess I have $4 in this Kenyan shilling. Interesting.
You got $4 in Kenyan shilling. How'd you get
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. I think because I've done so layer 3 had a bunch of campaigns and stuff on the Cello network, so I've
Oh, okay.
interacted on there quite a bit. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Somewhere along the way, I've accumulated some stuff. Um, their use cases, earning yield, cross-border payments, local payments. And yeah, that's what trips me out about seeing all these people paying at convenience stores and shit around the world in Bitcoin. It's like you don't necessarily want to do that. You know, that if you have something like this where
Well,
you can save
I'll,
your
I'll, I'll
Bitcoin.
Well, I'll tell you where I see this being useful. And I think and they understand that. And that's why they're launching it in these emerging markets where the majority of people don't have access to banking, is because a lot of these places, like the Philippines, like places in Africa, like places in Latin America, people from those places will migrate to other countries, like the Middle East and Europe, America, things like that, to work, and they'll earn and send money home. And it used to be they
Mm,
got bent over at Western Union and places like that to send money. And so they, caught on and they started using crypto. And so I think that that's pretty much what they're trying to focus on here is, get a foothold in these emerging markets to, give these people access, to, DeFi and, access to banking and access to, basically, sending and receiving money, things like that. And yeah, and I really think that
mm,
that's kind of where it looks to be where their focus is, and because all of those tokens, that you mentioned, all those currencies, Colombian peso, the Philippine, holy crap, Filipino peso,
you know,
the what else? Anyway, just Kenya, all of those places. A lot of people from those places end up in the Middle East, working as housekeepers and gardeners
mhm.
and whatever else. So anyway, that's kind of where I see this going, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of a deep dive and see if there's a some sort of play between Plasma and this project, to where like there might be a partnership in the future or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching.
Hmm. Actually, that would be a good thing. I wonder if Miles, if Miles would
I'll pull up Miles. Let me
see if he
share
got
my
some interesting alpha.
screen. Do. All right.
Hey, long time no chat. How's it hanging?
Hey, it's hanging to the right and low there,
Oh,
Miles. So, quick question for you. We're live, with the crew and Jeff, and we're talking about a new project called Mento. It's Mento Labs. It's a crypto project that is focusing on stable coins. Are you able to see that online?
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, Mento Labs is coming up now. Looks like they're building a stablecoin infrastructure focused on institutional adoption. Seems pretty new. Launched this month. Let me dig a little deeper. What specifically are you hoping to find out about them while you're live?
So, what we were kind of curious about is we did a deep dive. I don't know if you remember. We did another deep dive on a token called Plasma that is focusing on stable coins as well. And we were kind of curious if you could look at both Plasma and Minto and see if there's potentially a way that they could partner and complement each other, or if maybe if you when you looked, if you saw that they were not complementary, if they were competitors, if you could break that down for us on the potential of those two projects.
Right. The Plasma deep dive. Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, so comparing Plasma and Mento for potential synergy. Let me pull up some info. Okay, quick take. They're aiming for different parts of the stablecoin game, actually. Plasma seems more focused on creating, right? Leveraging zero knowledge proofs. Mento, on the other hand, is building the rails, the infrastructure, institutions to issue and manage stablecoins. So a direct partnership might be a bit of a stretch. It's less like two companies making the same thing and more like one building the roads and the other building the cars. Though car company could definitely use good roads, you know? Minto could benefit from integrating a privacy solution like Plasma's down the line, but right now they're operating at different layers. Does that make sense?
It does. Appreciate it, Miles.
Hmm.
No problem.
So yeah, it looks like that was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, even Grok was saying that, Mento specializing in stable assets on foreign exchange, um, mainly Africa, Asia, Latin America, and XPL is the stablecoin optimized layer one chain. Yeah, I mean that you just never know with crypto how things are so intermingled and shit.
Yeah. No, it's and like I said, I mean, who knows, how each of the projects are going to evolve and and grow and or if they'll even survive. That's the thing is, right now we're in the wild west, and when it
Thank you for
comes to
bringing that
crypto,
up, man.
what's that?
Thank you for bringing that up. Survive.
Yeah,
Kadena,
yeah.
they're
You
shutting
know,
down.
it's I mean, it's going to happen more and more. I mean, when you got what
Mhm.
it's like 22.5 million different freaking tokens and coins out there. Let me look at that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25.6 million fucking tokens and coins out there. It's freaking ridiculous. So,
Here's the
it's
Kadena chart.
well like 99% of the projects out there are probably going to go away. It's just I mean it's a fact. And that's why it's so important and why I'm always preaching and not to say that the ones I picked are going to be the ones, but they're the ones that I picked have a much higher likelihood than 95% of the projects out there. Definitely better chance than meme coins. And a lot of projects out there that just make a bunch of claims but don't ever produce anything. The ones that I've gotten into for the most part are good solid projects with good solid partnerships that are steadily building. TVL is growing, volume on chain is growing. And yeah, price on pretty much everything has been shit. So I've just been ignoring price. I still believe in the technology of crypto. I mean, I still see what's being built. I still go to rwa.xyz every day. I still go to DeFi Llama every day. And I look at these projects and, and you see that institutions are adopting, institutions are building, institutions are buying. The writing's on the wall. I mean, crypto's not going anywhere, not anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
It's just a waiting game. It's a discipline game of doing your research, and that's why we do these deep dives. Is to kind of plant the seed on these projects, and if it sounds interesting to you, you can go deeper. There's only so much time in an episode, but
Mm-hmm.
you really need to understand this game, and the disciplined, patient person that can sit on their hands when things are dumping are going to be the ones that are going to profit. It's the weak hands that because solely because of price they dump their bags. They bought it up here, it dumps, they sell, get into something else because it's pumping. That has already pumped and it dumps, so they get out of that, and they're just slowly getting their the liquidity sucked out of them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because they're being emotional. You have to stay stoic. If it dumps, as long as it didn't dump because of, some kind of hack or, something, it was a rug or whatever, unless it's something fundamentally wrong with the project, for me, that's an opportunity. If it dips some more, okay, I'll buy more or I'll earn more and I'll just keep earning with it because that's how, again, I built really nice bags of a lot of these projects is I just keep stacking when they dip. So
Yep.
that's my two
Yeah, if you're
cents.
tired, have a seat right here. There's a nice little chair that you can sit in.
Absolutely.
And man, and you want to see, so this once, whoops, no, not that. Oh, it doesn't go back, but in 2022, it was at $30 Cadena. It pumped up to $30
Yeah.
in the historical chart, and now it's so. And this is what, a JP Morgan or something, or Morgan Stanley, one of the financial institutions was behind. I forget the whole deal, but yeah. And Dagnum actually made a comment about this. Let me see. Yeah. Cadena, the only blockchain capable of powering global finance, just went out of business. KDA is probably just the beginning, and we'll probably see many more networks fold that don't have reliable, sustainable revenue model. So next cycle will be won by those that operate like a real business. Investors aren't going to buy a token which is built on vaporware.
Yeah.
Tokens like Hype and, I don't know, with Syrup tied to revenue will continue to gain momentum.
Syrup is Maple. Maple
Okay,
Finance.
Maple Finance. I like that. So, yeah. So even DAG has switched focus on revenue generation through products like digital evidence and real estate ledger IO. So yeah, here you go. Once was just under 4 billion. So yeah, you gotta play smart out there.
Yeah. No, it's and that's really the, the kind of the point of it all is, and I've been saying this for, probably about 2 years now, that there is going to be a point, and I think that point is happening right now, where, institutions got in. Well, I mean, I know it's happening right now. Institutions have been getting in. And like he said, institutions are not going to invest or build on projects that aren't proven. They don't have, proof of concept. Anytime, even a VC, early investors, usually whenever a VC, and I've sat down with VCs before, you know, most of them, they want to see some kind of proof of concept. Show us that you can pull this off before we're going to give you money. And that's kind of, we're going from a speculative market. And I say this repeatedly, and I'm going to keep saying it. We've been in pure speculation. Basically, it was just throw money in a project that, potentially was going to get hyped, or, that was going to get some news, buy the rumor, sell the news. And that's how you made money in crypto is, nobody had to show their work. It was just whichever one was the loudest, whichever one had the best community, whichever one had the most hype, whatever. Whatever got the attention of everyone. That's what made people money. Now, hype can only take you so far. I mean, you see massive amounts of hype on projects like XRP, and it doesn't move the price. Actually, it's starting to have the opposite effect. XRP is starting to dump. And they just get louder and louder. The hype engine just gets louder and louder, and it's like you need to stop if you want your project to be taken seriously. You can't just be throwing hype out there and hyperbole. You can't be making, baseless claims that, this is going to happen and this is going to happen and it's going to go to $10,000. And because people look at that and they're like, this is a bunch of clowns. They're not going to take it seriously. So, the best thing to do is just do your research, post, legitimate news. stuff like like what we posted earlier with KTA. It's going to go live on Coinbase tomorrow. That is from the official Twitter page of Coinbase. It's just you have to shift your thinking. This is no longer the no holds barred Royal Rumble that it was in past cycles. Even the cycle has changed. The 4-year cycle that everyone was holding to, myself included. We all knew that it could change at any time, but it's officially changed. So yeah, the only thing I can say about crypto right now is do your research, invest in strong projects, and cross your fingers because we're gonna have a wild ride. Some of us are going to make a lot of money, and some of us are going to lose a lot of money. And the more research and the more effort that you put into it, the better chance you're going to have to profit. So, oh, you got anything else or closing thoughts or what's up?
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you're saying earlier, invest in solid projects and not just some meme coin bullshit. To stick to DeFi if you're struggling with trading, because I know I can get pretty emotional and when it comes to the trading and stuff. So and I don't want to have to be checking my charts all the time because I don't like to keep notifications on my phone. So I just find it, it's nice and easy and less stressful. So now, that's not to say that trading or understanding how to trade can't be beneficial to your DeFi trading because it can help you set ranges and stuff and things like that. But if you don't want to stick with the charts all day, every day, come over to DeFi and you won't regret it. I promise you.
Yeah, I at some point I'm just going to have to, at least put part of my bags into, back into some pools because this sitting on my hands hodling, it's just not working for me. It's like
The itch.
well, just before when I was in pools, with these pullbacks and just kind of how crypto's been acting, I was still slowly building my portfolio. It was constantly going up, albeit little bits, just like a couple $1,000s a month. But it was going up, and ever since I got out of the pools, I've just been, kind of watching it tick down, instead of ticking up. And so, yeah, I think I'm just going to have to take, a little bit of my Bitcoin, a little bit of my KTA, a little bit of my Arrow, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe some Morpho, and just get back into some pools. And, if things start to take off, hopefully I'm able to pull them out because, what I worry about is, every once in a while, you get those VFAT bugs and, stuff like that to where you can't pull your liquidity out, and if things are going parabolic, I don't want to be caught, with all my liquidity in, in a stable coin or in the lesser performing asset and, sitting on my hands going like, come on, trying to get out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. VFAT it can be an issue sometimes, but that's a good.
So that's kind of why I've had all my liquidity out. I'm really, really trying to be disciplined and just, wait for the pump, but we'll see what happens. Seems like every time we get some gains, they can get siphoned off.
Yeah. Well, let's go alt season.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, it's, no matter how beat up I feel, I'm definitely not going anywhere. I'm all in, freaking all my liquidity that I own, that's not in gold, silver, and lead or real estate or anything like that. All my dirty fiat is in crypto, and that's where it's going to stay. And I've said it over and over: to zero or Valhalla.
Yes.
That's where I'm going. So, well, if you don't have anything more, the
No,
chat has been like freaking crazy quiet. This
they're they're sad. They're watching their bags. Just come on, do something. Do something.
I know. Be strong out there. I know it's rough. I know it's tough, but right now we feel like we're on the ropes, but all it's going to take is for the markets to start moving. And this is going to be a blip, in the rear view mirror. So just do what you got to do to survive. If you need to cash some out to pay bills and stuff like that, so be it. If you want to get into DeFi so you can earn a little bit to take a little of the pressure off, maybe make enough to pay one of your bills each month, because it doesn't seem like a lot, but even making like $200-300 a month, if you can use DeFi to make $200-300 a month, I mean, that's a credit card payment. That's a decent car payment. That's groceries. For part of the month. It's baby steps. Don't always think that you gotta make a 10x or 100x and buy a boat or buy a Lambo or something like that. The slow, steady wins the race. Start out to where you're making an extra $100 a month. Churn that into $200. Churn that into 400. Churn that into 800. Churn that into 1600. It's the compounding yield that's going to change your life. It's not the casino that's going to change your life. So, with that, well, Ricky Romero, from your lips to God's ears, man. Fucking last week of October is going to be fire. We'll see. So what do we got? Today's the 21st. So
pump it up. You got to pump it up.
This has got to be the last week of the month. So yeah, next week is starting on the 25th. This Saturday is starts the last 7 days of the month. So hopefully on the 27th, either during the rest of this week or the next week, hopefully it happens. And those of you that have black locks and arrow locks, I'll try to remember tomorrow for tomorrow's show, but do not forget to vote and make sure that you wait as long as possible towards the end of the epoch, which is 4 o'clock is when it ends Pacific Standard Time. So if it's 4 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And I'm not going to do it for around the world, but if you're watching, overseas and, habla español or whatever, figure that out. So with that, I thank you all for watching and showing up each time and staying strong in these fucked up markets. And until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
See y'all Friday.